Hey, everybody. This is HQ again. Today's topic we have is your type of submission is not what I like. That's wild, right? We've been on this submission kick for a while. So we have to really define submission. I wanted to do this topic because we have had so many people have panels regarding submission. And we still have not gotten women to submit. Do they really need to submit? Does everyone understand what submission means? I think that is the problem. A lot of people don't know what submission means. A lot of women don't know what submission means. A lot of men don't know what submission means. And a lot of women don't think men know what that means. I guess submission means a willingness to accept or yield influence from your partner, demonstrating respect and trust by considering their perspectives and sometimes prioritizing their needs while still maintaining your own identity and not losing agency in the decision-making process. I think that's women's problems. I think people interpret submission wrongly sometimes. Submission requires mutual respect. True submission is not about one partner being completely subservient to the other, but rather mutual respect, where both partners value each other's opinion and are willing to compromise on those opinions, right? Leadership and guidance, I guess. Submission can involve one partner taking a leading role in decision making while the other partner respects those decisions, right? And that guidance, right? I don't think it's really about power dynamics either. Submission should never be used as a tool to control or manipulate within a relationship. And I think this is the hang up that most women have right here. Context matters. Depending on the relationship dynamic and cultural background, concept of submission might be interpreted very differently. I just want to read this one thing I had regarding submission, right? This is what a lady said to me. She said, mainly it's because it's difficult for men to demonstrate that they have any kind of inherent superiority that would make mindless submission toward them a rational idea. Okay. What does that mean? How do you think a woman is supposed to interpret that when with along the submission, we hear men say they have superior intellect, they're logical, she's emotional, she doesn't make rational decisions. How does one submit to someone when I think you're equal to me? Other than the physical, you're equal to me. How do you get a whole side of women? Not all of them, because we have pick-me's and people like that who keep saying the same thing that men are saying because they need that particular support, that women are inferior to men. But this is what women say. Okay. They want to tell us how to dress, who we can be friends with, where we can work. That's not going to work for most women. They tell you when to have sex, when to comply about sex, when they want sex, when you're supposed to want sex. Do the household chores and raise kids because that's your place. Women don't like that. That's how they think men feel about submission, and including her working and her handing over her paycheck into a one pot deal. And then the allowances are allocated by whatever the man says is should be allocated. Some men actually want you to sign over your assets to them. According to the women, these are things that women think. Oh, and you have to deal with making stupid decisions. If they make stupid decisions, you just got to shut your mouth and look pretty. These are the things women write and say. You should never question your partner, otherwise you'll deserve a beating. What is that, domestic discipline? This is why women find it hard to submit. We have to shave, do our hair, be natural, present ourselves nicely without ever knowing the effort we have to go. You don't know how long it takes to do those things. We have to be on point every minute of every day. And the only thing you got to do is come home and be nice and go to work and provide. But there's a million other things that are available for us to do during the day. And a woman who feels as though she's equal to a man, which is what most women think, which is what society, Western society thinks, it's very difficult for her to just say, I'm going to be submissive. But see, I have a different idea. Submission is not just something a woman does. That doesn't happen because she gets into a relationship. There has to be two factors available when a woman is submissive. Two main ones. There could be others. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying the main two is she has to feel safe. She has to feel safe. And you have to be a trustworthy individual in order for a woman to submit. Look at those two things, and you can get submission, or present those two things and you can get submission from a woman. You have to be trustworthy, and she has to feel safe. Okay? And women feel as though we have to be subservient, tailor our attitudes, tailor our wants, desires, needs. And this is why women have an issue with submission. Right or wrong, this is the way women feel. The kind of submission that they feel as though men have, they don't want that. If you have any of these ideas in your head, the ones that I said, she doesn't like that. Because most men, they feel like don't have the idea of a true leadership or what it looks like. Leadership does not mean I'm the head of this family, or so what I says goes, and you better obey me. That's not leadership. That's being an asshole. Abuse at worst. These are things women say. Also, being a leader does not mean you're allowed to disagree with me. But ultimately, if you can't persuade me, we do it my way. That's douchebag behavior. And women feel that way. It also doesn't mean the main job I have is just taking care of kids. I'm a support staff person. I sacrifice all that I do so you can get ahead, and I don't. I'm saying the things that women think when it comes to submission, how people feel when you all speak in terms of submission. So I want to hear from men. What do you mean when you mean submission? What does that look like on a woman? What does that feel like as a woman to hear a man say, I want you to be submissive? I want women to call in and say, what the hell does that sound? That sounds like this. That sounds like garbage. That sounds like you want me to be the slave. And I would like men to call in and say, that's not what we mean. We mean X, Y, and Z. Because I think this is getting lost. That submission thing is getting. A woman needs to feel safe, and you have to be a trustworthy individual in order for submission to be present. It just doesn't happen. People think because you get into a relationship, submission is there. That doesn't happen. That's why you have women bucking up to men. That's why you have women not listening to their men. You have to do, as a man, you have to do something first. You have to show yourself to be a trustworthy man. And you have to make her feel safe. Because the bulk of us wouldn't do half of the things we do in relationships if those two factors were there. You spending time all out with your friends, you cussing me out, you disappearing on me, you not being where you're supposed to be, you're not doing what you said you're going to do. All of these things play into a woman's submission. The kind of submission you're talking about, I don't like that kind of submission. That's what these ladies are saying. The kind of submission you're talking about. And it doesn't have to be a biblical thing. It just has to be a shared agreement between two people. People say, well, it's in the Bible. You have to be submissive. That's not how that works. Well, I want a woman to be submissive. Call in and tell me, what do you mean by submissive? What do you mean? And I'll tell you if it's going to work or not. You tell me you have submission in your relationship, and you tell me about that, and you say you have it, and you tell me what the idea of submission is, and I'll tell you why it's not going to work. Two things need to be present in a submissive relationship: trust and a trustworthy individual. Safety. Those are the two major components of it. And we have women out here saying, oh, hell no, I ain't doing that, because these men don't know what the hell they doing. And they say, ain't no reason for me to be submissive. Just because you have a different plumbing than I do, your body works differently than mine, doesn't mean I need to be submissive. That doesn't make you smarter. It just means you're a different sentient human being. I'm not saying this. I'm saying women are saying this. This is why they don't want to submit. Because you haven't proven that you're trustworthy enough to be submitted to. Because you have a different idea of what submission means. And women don't believe that you will keep you will keep it as a modern day concept and not a historic day concept. I don't want to be stuck in the kitchen scrubbing floors and then you get to run the streets with your boys, or you get to cheat and do what you want to do because you provide money and you provide shelter and this, that, and the third. Okay. And that's where we're having the problem. It can be done. People can submit in relationships in which they feel respected, you are trustworthy, and they feel safe. I mean, I don't have a definition. I mean, I can read you a definition. Submission, I guess, I think I read it at the beginning. Willingness to accept or yield influence from your partner. Demonstrating respect and trust by considering their perspective and sometimes prioritizing their needs while maintaining your own autonomy and not losing the decision-making process. Did I submit in my relationship? Yes, because I knew early on that he was a trustworthy person. He was a person who did what they said. And because I am an open individual where I believe a person first, and then you have to prove to me that you're not a trustworthy person. I believe you first. He was a very controlled person. He knew what he wanted to do, how he wanted to do it. He knew he wanted to have a family and he wanted to do it. He knew all of these things. And he was a willing participant. He was a willing person that said, this is how we want to run our family, right? This is how, and I said, okay, this sounds like how I want to do it. Okay. These things are negotiable because you don't walk into a relationship and say, you're going to do this, this, and this. But people think that's how it works. That's not how that works. That's never how that works. You never walk into a relationship. You walk into a relationship and say, I want to have this type of wife. I want her to be this, this, and this. But the minute you walk in there and say, I want her to be submissive, you're already on the back end of the, because modern day women think you don't know what that means. Submission in a relationship is about mutual respect, compromise, kindness, and not subordination. That subordination is the problem. Women think you want to subordinate them. So how are we going to change the minds of the women? We first have to change the minds of the men and how they approach asking a woman for submission. Excuse me. But many men don't understand submission, the concept, particularly within the context of relationships or religious beliefs. But it can be a complex topic where interpretations can vary, leading to misunderstandings about what it really means. She has to have trust. You have to be a trustworthy individual. Mean what you say what you mean, be consistent. And she has to feel safe. And I'm going to keep pounding that away. Those two things are the requirement for submission. Anything else is just gravy. But we take a look at those two concepts. We take a look at those two. When I feel safe. What does feeling safe mean? What does that mean? When I feel safe, that means I'm comfortable to take my heels off. I'm comfortable to take my weave out. I'm comfortable to take my makeup off. And when I do that, you won't call me ugly. You won't treat me differently. That is what feeling safe means. I can take my armor off. Women, when a man is talking about feeling safe, he is talking about, I can tell you something and I know you won't repeat it or use it against me. You men know what that means, right? You know what that means. That's that safety. I can tell her something and she won't repeat it and she won't use it against me. That's what submission is to a woman. That's the first part. I can take my makeup off. I can show you every ugly part of me and you still say, okay. I have a caller.
From Giselle, Washington. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Denzel. I done waited on your call for years. What's going on?
No, this is Giselle.
How you doing, sir, this evening?
Oh, I'm doing rather swell. How about you?
Fine. What do you have contributing to this topic we have this evening?
Disappointing you was kind of quiet yesterday on the panel, but that was yesterday and today's today. Yeah.
No, I was just being quiet. No big deal.
True.
No, just quiet.
Well, I got a few things. Well, you said a point of a woman taking out her weave when she should never wear weave. She should always take care of her hair and have her real hair. That's that.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of where you said that you spoke on submissiveness again. Could you go over that topic again?
Submit, when you mean as in, what do you mean? As in why they don't like submission, or what is submission?
Well, actually, to that, to your topic, to what you were saying, I just think like a lot of people need to get around like-minded individuals because in the majority of mass, I think the majority of people only get with folks they find sexually attractive and that's appeasing on the eye, more so than character content and like-minded goals.
Right. I mean, look, there's plenty of people on this planet that you can be sexually attracted to. Plenty of people. If you have a type. Who has an echo? He has an echo? Oh,
I'm echoing?
Yeah, they said you're echoing. Okay, let me turn it down. Okay. So there's plenty of people that you can be attracted to on the planet because you have a type. I have a type. Tall, muscular, blah, 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 right?
Denzel's not muscular.
But that's my type, I'm saying. My type.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I'm saying my type. So with that being said, the whole point is you can be attracted to a lot of people, but can you find a person that has the same values, wants, needs, desires that you do? Okay. That's the trick of it. Finding a person that lives by their moral code or lives by certain values or lives by things that they live by. See, I told myself a long time ago I would never hit children because I would never hurt anyone more vulnerable than me. I would never do this, and this. So I'm saying you can find people that have those likes, but you also have to be attracted to a person too. You also have to have that component along with it.
Okay, so why so is that an issue in our community versus every other community versus like, because I mean, honestly, you know, y'all females, y'all supposed to be the more attractive ones, but also as time has shown, like us as men, we age more. Of course, we age better, but that's neither here nor there. But y'all supposed to be keeping yourself up in math, and y'all are not doing that.
Well, the whole point is we've gotten past looking for marriage. The women have gotten past looking for marriage. That's part of the problem, because they're not used to. You're not used to getting married. So if you in maths say you're not going, there's an echo on his part or my part. Call me back. Call me back. I maybe I'll close this out and then turn it back on and then see if you still have that echo.
All right.
Okay. Call me right back. Okay. Leave this. Okay. Let's see if we can straighten out the echo. Give it a minute. Audio. Okay. Let's see if we can straighten it out. Okay. Let me put it back. Oops. Yeah, so I mean, it's difficult for us to join in, but it's not all of that. It's not all of that difficult to find mates. I find that it's not difficult to find mates. It's just people are in their way and they're set on what they want, and they're not willing to settle, or they're not willing to look at other factors besides what they want. And it's difficult for people to get past what they want. See, in the past, we looked at people and said, okay, he doesn't make X, Y, and Z. So once we realized that men don't make X, Y, and Z, we had other factors that we had to look at. Women these days don't want to look past the fact that men should have an income. Men should be able to take care of women. It just is a reality that women have found. Men don't make that kind of money where you can sit down and stay at home. And once we get women past the fact that men are not going, you're not going to be able to sit at home and take care of children unless your husband makes over 100, 200,000, unless you make over 100, 200,000 or whatever, it's a wrap. And I say, if you got involved with a woman, why y'all don't marry y'all baby mamas? Why y'all get baby mamas? Why is it that you don't marry the first woman that you get pregnant? That's a question that I have. Why is it that men don't marry the first woman that they get pregnant, or the first man you get pregnant by? See, that's a whole nother topic, and that's a whole nother topic. But I'm reading these quotes from the ladies who say they don't want to submit to you. Why is it that she doesn't want to do it? Why is it that she doesn't want to do it? Because she doesn't have trust. She doesn't have trust in you. Are you a trustworthy individual? I'm not saying that you're not trustworthy. I'm saying she has found that there's a problem with the trust. Why is there a problem with the trust? Why is it that you don't make her feel safe? You, according to the ladies, they don't make you feel safe. Let's see if this works now.
Call from
Triple X.
Triple X.
To accept, press 1.
All right. Can you,
Hey.
Triple X?
Yeah, Lady HQ, Lady HQ. What
Okay.
it do?
How does it sound now, guys? Does it sound better, or is it an echo still? Did we fix it? Let's hope we fixed it. Hopefully it sounds better.
Saying that the echo still?
No, no, they're not saying anything. I can't.
Oh, okay. I got you. It should sound better. I'm saying it now.
Okay, it sounds better. Okay.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? What was your problem with what I was saying?
Oh, yeah. No, I was gonna say on the topic of what you was discussing, on the last part, what you just touched on, as far as why the woman don't submit everything, in a lot of those situations, I'm gonna kind of throw a curveball here and say, I feel like the woman may have never really been fully entrusting and really into that guy in the first place, even if they have evolved into a relationship or even marriage.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with that.
See, wait a minute. Stop right there. We gonna let that marinate. You said what you said was why the relationship fails is because she never really had the trust for you in that relationship. So now we turn it around and we say, what happened to you instilling the trust so she could do better?
Okay, that's a good point. To that, I'll say this. I think in a lot of those situations, the particular woman may have never fully been into the guy like that. He may have just been simply the better and or best option he had at that time and or could possibly get or qualify for. But it's not really that guy.
Right.
You know, that guy, he gonna be with it. You know, he has to do something insane, stupid, and probably multiple times for a woman to be like, she don't want nothing to do with that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If he's really that guy, 55, full body, shoulders, like you keep talking about, you know, and you know, money, you know, and smooth talking and all that, you know, hey.
Right.
You know, like for her not to cooperate with that, you know, that just won't add up to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is it that we're having this big divide? Okay. Why are we having this big divide between us and us and the women?
Yeah.
Because somewhere in the beginning, did you instill trust? Did you stand on everything you said? Did you do everything you said? Did you do all of these things? And she still was not the woman for you?
Right.
I mean, can you look back and say, I didn't run around. I didn't give her mixed messages. I didn't do any of these things. But yet I jumped in a relationship and I had a baby with this woman.
Right.
And I really wasn't fully into the relationship. See how people get into relationships. They don't mean to. They just want to be friends, sucky, do all that. But they end up having a baby, and then you don't have the trust. She don't feel safe. She always worrying about what you doing at night. You ain't coming over, blah, blah, blah. See how self-sabotage happens in those relationships.
Right.
Nobody has instilled trust. Nobody wants to be trustworthy. He's still seeing other women. I really don't want to see her. She was just a side piece, but now she's pregnant.
Right.
Maybe I want to make it work, but I've been doing some garbage at the beginning. And she don't know how to act. She don't know whether to trust you or not. See all that self-sabotage right there. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
sabotaged. He wants to be a good guy. Don't get me wrong. Now that she's pregnant, he wants to do the right thing. He wants to be the good guy, but he hasn't completely jumped in. He's still saying, okay, I'm finna hold a little bit back because I really didn't want her, but she gonna have my baby and blah blah blah. And then she's like, man, I know, now that I'm having a baby, why don't you come on? You got to come on and give me the trust and the girlfriend thing, and she feels like you're not giving her the girlfriend thing, so therefore she's not going to trust you. She doesn't feel safe with you, so therefore that submission, that she's doing that rah stuff still.
Yeah. Hey, let me add this.
Right.
Oh, okay. Let me say this right. Let me jump in right quick, HQ.
Okay, go.
Hey, no, I get what you're saying on that, and it's a lot of truth wrapped up in what you said on that front.
Right.
I got a question though. And
yes, sir.
Serious question.
Okay.
How do players play? You know?
How do players play?
Yeah, how do players play?
Recklessly sometimes. What do you mean?
No. They play all day,
every day.
All day, every day.
Okay.
So the point I'm going with that is most ladies know what they're getting into when they get into that realm. Because a lot of those guys that every woman is chasing fall in that category.
Right.
Question is he really ready to turn that player card in? A lot in. Maybe some is. You know, I think at some point in every man's life, he's gonna want to get serious about a relationship. At some point.
Yeah, but here's a question. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that if it starts out a certain way, do you think that she honestly believes that you're going to change?
I'm a big advocate of you end up how you start out. You start out how you end up. So yeah, you know, so I feel it starts out on a good foot, you know, and she's got a clear head and she ain't got a lot of trauma herself.
Right.
Maybe you might be able to do something with that. But from my experience, once a woman's been scorned or black pilled herself,
or she feels like, because excuse me, I get a cold real quick, really easily, but she feels as though now that we're pregnant, you're supposed to be something that you're not.
Right.
You're supposed to be something that you're not. And that is how this is how most of our relationships start out, right?
That's true.
If we kept it the way it was supposed to start, mutual sexual satisfaction. Don't you come up pregnant. Don't you come up pregnant. We ain't doing that. Right? We ain't doing that.
Right.
Give us enough time to find out whether I like you beyond the bedroom.
Yeah.
Maybe relationships would be better. Maybe relationships would work. Maybe you would actually get into a relationship with that person. Because you spend time with that person, and then as time evolves, you get to know a little bit of them, a little bit. And then if ain't no baby involved,
right.
Maybe I can just look at you and say, oh, okay, she cool. The sex is hot.
Yeah.
We ain't pregnant or nothing. Let's see what we can do.
Right. Exactly. With a clear head.
Yes.
And you're not going into nothing feeling forced or rushed, or you're kind of thrown off by everything or overwhelmed by what is happening. I agree with that. No, that's real talk.
But do we do that? Do we practice that? We're trying to stop that.
Yeah, most people in this community, unfortunately, do not. You know, other communities, you know, and not to say those communities are perfect either.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, they're some of them are hot wired not to get pregnant. But see, we're talking about what happens because you don't get submission.
Yeah.
When men don't get the submission that they want.
Yeah.
Because from where we started, where the hell are we going?
Yeah. Right.
Nowhere good when you pop up pregnant on me.
No, not at all. And hey, I don't want to get too far off the subject, but I'll just say this. A lot of the ladies, I'm going to be honest, and this is my opinion of watching this play out for so many years, family members,
right,
friends, everything. most, and this ain't nothing offensive, but most women, especially in this area, don't know how to choose men properly. Men for the long term, you know?
Yeah, but most men are not looking to get in a relationship. They're looking to get into snatch as many as they can.
I don't know if I agree with that,
Shoot, this is what we hear. What do you mean? This is what we hear from men. They want to get in as much snatch as possible.
I'm gonna say this: it's definitely a solid group of guys, a decent amount of group of guys out there that want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if most men really had the girl they really wanted, and that girl was kind of rocking with them, there would be a lot more guys in serious situations.
So why is it that you all can't find? Why is it that you all can't choose correctly? Why you choose these chicks? Why?
No,
why,
I think.
why?
Well, AQ, that's a disingenuous question.
Wait a minute, you just said it. You just said if they could be with the woman that they wanted. What do you mean? What does that mean?
I'm gonna say this. I think, the guys can choose, but the question is the women gonna be with it? You know, and that goes back.
Maybe they're fishing in the wrong pond.
Yeah, well, that goes back to the Single by Choice show. I mean, you up there often, and you see a lot of women in there. You do your reviews too.
Right. But men could be fishing outside of their pond. Men could be looking at women that are out of their league. Because I'm going by what you said. I'm going by what you said.
Yeah.
You said if men could be with the women that they want, why aren't you with the women you want?
Well, that woman may not want that man. At least at that point, but after she got a couple kids and things have not panned out with the guy she wanted, now she wants that man.
Wait a minute, but hence, okay, so she don't want. So you may want a woman, but she may not want you. So doesn't that say that you're fishing out of your pond, the wrong pond? You're fishing in the wrong pond. Don't they say that?
Well,
wait a minute. Hold on. Listen to this. If all the women that I have wanted, are on this level, but I can't seem to get those women on this level, you fishing in the wrong pond.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
just wait a minute. Hold on. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Women are always looking in the wrong pond for their men, right? Always looking for that 666 and never being able to get it, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes they can get it, sometimes they can't.
Very rarely.
It depends on where they're at in the game. Like y'all was reviewing Single by Choice last night, and that big old girl was on Ashley with her chest all out.
Right.
Like she calling up for level up show.
Right.
Ashley don't about by kind of bag of high-earning guys. She got herself together. She ain't in the right shape. She ain't presenting herself right. She was crazy up there. Like she ain't even at fighting weight to be able to make a move on something.
You're
like
right. But I'm saying, are we all trying to fish in different ponds that don't? The people who can't find the person that they want, are they fishing in the wrong pond?
Some people are. Some people are. Some people may be getting legitimately overlooked, and some people are. So, because I mean, quite honestly.
But look at that first lady.
Yeah.
Look at the first lady that came on last night.
Right.
Look at that first lady. She wasn't fit, but she was friendly enough. She didn't have any children. She wasn't the best looking woman.
Yeah.
But you could shave her down and give her a bath and help her lose weight.
I can shave her, give her a bath.
And make her help her lose weight. And she'd probably be the best mother and wife that she could be.
Yeah, she would probably be a great candidate for that type of guy. And she may get overlooked because she doesn't have an aesthetic that 150K or 200K guys want. So she may get unfairly, and I'm going to say it again, unfairly.
Right.
Overlooked.
Right.
But that's just unfortunately how the game goes. You know?
Right. So I'm saying, so what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is men are not getting the submission that they want.
Mm-hmm. I get what you okay. Yeah.
Because we all have different expectations or the wrong expectations about what submission might be. And men want a different, the way men present it. How do you present submission? How do when you say you want a woman to submit to you, what do you mean? What does that look like?
Okay, for me, what that would look like would be a woman that's extremely cooperative. She has.
Stop right there. What does extremely cooperative mean?
I'm going to break it down right now.
Okay.
She has good communication.
Mm-hmm.
She has great understanding, and she has very good loyalty. So going from there, she has to be a good listener, and she has to be somebody that listens to respond, and not just somebody like we're talking and she's just talking over what I'm saying and all that. She has to be somebody that listens to respond. Listens and then factors in what's being said and then responds. She needs to be somebody that's patient, somebody that has good understanding. And she has to be somebody that's really rocking with the agenda and plan. She's already rolling and rocking with this guy. Believe me, she's got those traits, then that's going to lead to a cooperative woman and even furthermore. If she's trusting in you, she's a good communicator. There's nothing she's doing that's really off code on that front. She's loyal. I mean, I think those are the traits most of the guys are looking for.
So let's play it out. Let's do a scenario. A scenario. I am your wife, because submission comes along. Submission is supposed to come along in a relationship where I have the trust and I have the trust and I have the safety involved. This is a scenario in which we have submission. Now, talk to me as though what you want me to do in a relationship. Show me something.
Okay, your expectations. I would say these are your expectations for a relationship, as far as you being a woman. I'm gonna need you to do a lot of those things that I just previously mentioned, but I can touch on those again. I need somebody that's patient. I need a woman that's kind, a woman that's understanding, and she has to be a good listener. So as day-to-day tasks are rolled out, like when we're actually married, living together, it'll have to be made clear what your task and my tasks are going to be during the coming weeks and years that we will be together. What does the day-to-day look like? Are you going to be cooking 3 times a week? Do I need you to do the laundry on these days? Do I need you to do any errands for my business that I'm running, et cetera? And I also have to listen to it as a two-way street. I have to listen to what your expectations are.
No. Let me do mine. Let me do mine. We got yours. Let me do mine.
Yes. Go ahead.
As a cooperative, wife and a partner, and somebody who his echo, you're echoing bad. What does that mean? What's coming? Because I can sort of hear you run too. What's going on? Or you got to turn something down or something. Turn something down or something.
Yeah, I got the volume off on the computer. Ooh. So I don't know what that is. Hey, everybody in the chat, is the echo still real bad?
Can you hear him? Because I can't hear his echo at all.
Is
that better? Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Rose just said it's better.
Okay. So.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So we have to establish that, I have goals and wants and needs too.
For sure.
So if I have goals, wants, and needs too, I'm going to need you to be supportive. I'm going to need you to listen to what I have to say. Sometimes I will be emotional and sometimes I won't. I will listen to what you need, and then you listen to what I need, and then we go from there. Submission, as far as submission. Submission to me, and I'm speaking like the regular women who I hear from. Submission, I find it difficult to have submission because I don't trust you to have my back. I don't trust you not to run out and find your friends more important than me. I don't trust you because I understand that being faithful and being loyal may mean something different to you, but being faithful and keeping your peen out of other women's hands is a big part of me trusting you. Can you do that so that I can feel trust for you? I can feel safe with you, and you can get the submission that you want from me. If you can do those things, then I will work on being the submissive partner that you need me to be.
I think that's a respectable act, HQ. I don't have no problems with those. I like how you articulated it too. It was very clear. I don't think you said anything out of the way. I always agree to those things.
So, but we have you see how I said it, and then you see how women today take it somewhere else.
I
see
do.
what I'm saying? Because a lot of them are saying what's the word they're saying? Slave.
Oh yeah.
Right? They saying making me, let me not do what I want to do. Thinking I want to be caught in the kitchen in the house.
Bare feet and pregnant.
See the difference between negotiating that relationship, because you told me what you wanted, and I told you what I wanted. Is it something that you can work with?
Well, see, I'm gonna say it like this. Me personally, I didn't see nothing too much you said out of the way. Now, like I say, it's a two-way street. This is, I would never want to turn any relationship, at least for me, into like a dictatorship or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
But why do they see it that way? Why do women see it that way?
Right, exactly. I think, and we have to be realistic, and this is for any man. Any woman you get with in a serious relationship and or get married to, she's gonna be looking for you not to mess with other chicks.
Not to mess with what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said anybody that gets in a relationship, I mean, it's almost a given. If you get in a relationship and or married, the woman is gonna be looking for you to not mess with other women. That's like almost a given.
Right.
So
but we have had that issue. Women have had that issue. I mean, why
I'm sure.
They've had that issue. Well, I mean, he can't keep his peen out of other women's hands. That's about 80%.
So he's violated the agreement to a degree.
Right.
So
why haven't we put that? Why haven't we taken a look at that piece of that said, I mean, if you cheating on me, why am I being submissive to you?
I'm gonna say this though, HQ. We have to remember this too. Like the role is not so much like we sit down. I'm a fair guy, but it's not really like a partnership like that. A man is looking for a helpmeet. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, not like everything is asymmetrical. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you can value the woman's input and listen to what she has to say and factor those things in. It's good game can come from a woman. you know, she's truly interested and dedicated in this guy, she can throw out good stuff for sure.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you think all men can be leaders?
I think all men have the potential to be leaders. Will they be leaders? I can't. All probably won't be, but I think they have the potential to be. But most, I won't say most, but a lot may not reach that potential. Is what I say to that.
Now, according to Kevin Samuels, sexual discipline is a major component.
Yeah.
In relationships.
Yeah.
So why is it that we have a difficult time? If you know, as a man, my submission is based on you being loyal or you being trustworthy, not to have your peen in other women's hands. Why is it that men don't practice that?
We're not. Listen. Let me.
If you know that I'm going to get out of pocket.
Hold on. You really want to smoke, HQ? We're really gonna do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure because
I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen.
All right, look, man. Look, are we gonna look? We gonna keep it all the way 1,000 here.
Keep it 1,000. Keep it 1,000.
Okay. We are natural hunters. You know, men are natural hunters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that said, I mean, monogamy is something that in the last few hundreds of years has come to be more of a commonplace thing. You know, and you know, state-sanctioned marriages and all of that stuff, and a man having one woman and all of that. Listen, that is something that has really come together in more recent times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like in a man in his natural habitat, like really doing his own thing, especially in years, many moons ago, in years past, one woman likely was not on the table. You know, so a lot has changed.
So
in modern civilization. Go ahead.
So my question is this: if a part of my submission means I have to trust you.
Yeah. I want to say this too. Let me jump in and say this too.
What?
Now, on the flip side of that, a man should be a man of his word too. So while we may be that,
and Kevin Samuels said a man should have sexual discipline.
Otherwise, he's reckless. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He also said a man should exercise options too.
That's a rich man. We're not talking about rich man. We're talking about the regular, everyday man.
He said a high value man.
Right.
And a high value man, in Kevin's opinion, could have just been a 6-figure earner. So he didn't.
But we're not talking about the 6-figure earner. We're talking about the regular guy on the street.
Right. Well, okay. It's all right. I'm a 6-figure guy, but I get what you're saying. A regular guy on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He might be a regular guy that works for UPS, but he also might be 6'5" and can talk like Goldie from the Mac. So that is the thing. You know, he may be an extremely attractive, smooth talking guy. He's just not career focused or ambitious. So he's not a money maker. So
what if I said this?
You know what I'm saying?
We still in the role play thing. What if I said this? What if I said if I can't trust you to be faithful, then don't expect me to be submissive.
Right. Oh well. Hey.
No. We role playing. What do you say? What do we role playing still? What do you say when I say that?
I get you. Hey, I'm gonna say that don't work for me.
What? What don't work for you? I just said you. Okay, so what don't work for you? What do you mean?
What you just said? I can't agree to that.
Because part of submission is trust. A woman has to be.
And I understand why you feel that way. And I can only speak for myself, HQ. My situation is this. If I say I'm going to do something, or I'm going to agree to something, that's what I'm going to do. Now, I know just because I said that, every man is not going to adhere to that, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So men will continue to do what they do. I know 2 or 3 guys right now I grew up with, knew them since I was 10 and 11. And they have straight up told me they'll never just have one woman. Just like that. They've been in serious relationships. A couple have been married before. And so, but they told me straight up multiple times, like, I'll never just have one woman.
But
just
see,
like that.
So how did we reconcile that? So if you're not going to be faithful and I'm not going to give you submission,
I would
that's
say
inherently
a woman, if that's what she's, I'm going to just say this, and I get where you're going with that. If a woman is really, if that's what she's really about and she wanted to stand on that, then she should make those her standards and she shouldn't deal with that guy. She should cut that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying we're being upfront. We're being upfront.
Right.
We're being upfront with he's not going to be faithful.
Right.
And she's not going to give submission.
Yeah.
So inherently, we're going to have that conflict, right or wrong.
Yeah. So
you're going to get that rah-rah all the time.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of drama. It'll be a lot of bullshit. Like if a guy agrees, if they both basically agree to that, then it's going to be a lot of bullshit. It's going to be a lot of drama.
But do you see where we have a chokehold in relationships where we have that?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
You don't want the monogamy piece. You want a relationship. Men want a relationship, but they don't really want that monogamy piece. And women really don't want the relationship without the monogamy piece.
And I can dig that. I'm gonna say this too, though, HQ. One of the main problems is a lot of women will throw those standards out the window if they meet the right guy they want. If just their wife to come walking through the door, HQ standards is going into the trash.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get all that. That's what we're trying. That's what we're trying to address. We're trying to address. You want submission, and she wants a faithful partner. So you should know from the beginning. Don't pop up pregnant, because that ain't what we doing. We just having a sexual relationship. You just coming over here having a good time, and I'm coming over here having a good time. Don't pop up pregnant. Right. We both using birth control. I'm definitely not giving you no baby. And she and she shouldn't be having sex without some kind of protection. But you can't expect her to have submission. Submission requires trust, a trustworthy individual, and submission requires her safety, a woman feeling safe. That's the only way a woman can give submission.
I'm gonna say this, HQ. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff that you say sound good, but a man and woman's position or relationship, in a lot of ways, is not asymmetrical. You know what I'm saying? Will both parties have an equal level of leverage? You know, usually it's gonna be somebody that's gonna have more leverage in a relationship.
So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, generally, just like if it's a boxing, put it like this. If this is a boxing match, there's usually going to be a bigger name, bigger fighter, and there's going to be the lesser fighter. The bigger fighter gets the lion's share of the money and of the prize money. You know, usually there's an A side to a relationship and a B side to a relationship. That's just how it usually goes. And whoever is on the A side, usually their ideology wins out and the other side has to follow. You know? Hey, let me jump in before you respond to that. I want to say something to Rose in the chat. She asked me a question.
Okay.
She said, but Triple X men, she said, but Triple X, do I think, hold on. What did she ask me? She said, Triple X, do you think you're the minority or majority? I think that's a good question, though. You're funny. I would say it's probably the majority, but it's still a high number of people who are on the opposite side of that road. So it could be, even if it's 70-30, 30% is a large amount.
That don't want to be that 30%.
That don't play games and always have more than one woman and a lot of bullshit. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but we still have that 70, but we still have that 70%. We don't want to get pregnant.
Right.
That's the first thing. Don't bring a part of something into a relationship that forces you to make decisions.
Yeah.
Forces you to be around when that's not the case. That's not the relationship that we started out with. We started out on a sexual relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, another thing. Somebody said trust is not part of submission. Trust is the only component you have to have besides feeling safe. Those are the only two when submission happens. See, this is why I did this particular show, because you men don't understand submission the way that it is for us women.
Okay, so you want to give a woman's perspective. Is that your boo thing in the chat talking, Leon?
Yeah, he's saying trust is not part of submission. Yes, it is. It's two components that bring submission. Trust, a trustworthy human being, and safety. A woman needs to feel safe. She's not going to give you, she's pretending to be submissive. That's the problem. Y'all don't recognize a woman pretending to be submissive. She cannot pretend. If she has trust and she is safe, then she's able to give submission freely. You just walking in the door and pulling your dick out doesn't mean she feels safe or she trusts you. A lot of men put their Johnson in other women's hands all the time, and she knows that. She's not giving you submission. She's giving you the rah, rah, rah all the time. Little things bringing on the rah, rah, rah. Big things, the whole nine. When a woman is safe, she feels safe, and she trusts you, and you're a trustworthy individual, submission will come. And this is right. This is why I'm addressing it, because even a 55-year-old man doesn't seem to understand what involves submission, what submission involves.
I want to say this too, HQ. Ultimately, a man's number one is going to be respect. You know, that's the whole baseline and foundation of the situation. You know, that's more important than the love or the affection and all of that. Like, the respect got to be there first and foremost. If that ain't there, then I don't really have anything to build on, and I have to put that fish back in the sea, basically. I have to send it to Glazed Galaxy. So, it's got to be respect.
But see, you understand. This is why we're having conflict in our relationships.
I totally understand. I understand it, because I feel like a lot of those percentage of those guys that I've mentioned, a lot of women are interested in and they pursue. And those guys are, in a lot of ways, giving those women a raw deal. But a lot of other guys are being ignored in that selection process. So I know once that woman has gotten a raw deal 4 or 5 times, and then maybe a kid out of that, I mean, she ain't the same person anymore.
Nope, because she gonna have that rah 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 for you all the time. Because because I keep having to say to you, we're having this responsibility. We're dealing with this responsibility, and you don't want to deal with this responsibility. And responsibility means you need to be faithful. We need to get this family off the ground, and you don't want to get this family off the ground. You still want to do what you want to do. So therefore, I'm not going to be submissive. So therefore, I'm going to be rah rah rah.
No, I get it. HQ gonna be toxic.
I'm just saying, women. We have women. If a woman is really into a man, if she's really gonna do submission, she's gonna find excuses and ways to be around you all the time, to talk to you.
Yeah.
She's gonna be comfortable with you.
Yeah. She into you.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. She gonna really be there. It'll be hard to get rid of her.
Right.
Been there before. So absolutely. She'll be calling you 2 or 3 times a day. Right. I've been there, you know, and I agree with all that for sure.
So if there was a commitment to it, that's a part of being. That's a part of that umbrella that people that I speak about. Having that umbrella and trusting this human being to be who you want them to be under that umbrella. If I know you, I know when I wake up every morning the sun gonna come up. I know every morning that the sun is gonna come up. If I know every morning that you not gonna walk out the door because I took my weave off. You're not gonna walk out the door because I made a mistake in doing something else, or I lost my job, or I did all of this. Wouldn't I begin to try? And I know that I won't wake up in the middle of the night and you gone. I won't wake up in the middle of the night, you at the club, or your words are conflated.
Conflicted. I get what you mean.
Then I'm gonna start to trust you.
Yeah, no, I can definitely dig that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely dig that. Hey, I want to say something about what you said earlier about people dating out of their pool and all of that.
Right.
HQ, if 100% of men right now went for that big girl that was on Ashley Dalton's, that was half naked with her chest all out.
Right.
If 100% of men, irregardless of them being rich, 6 figures, handsome, whatever, went with that girl or those types right now, all of those women would not be cooperative. And you know it. You see how fucking pussy that woman was?
I'm not saying that she would be cooperative. I'm saying she would be closer. She would be closer to what you saying that you say saying to what you guys say you want. Natural hair.
No,
and the only thing she didn't have was that she was overweight.
It was more than that. That woman, like, if you really paid attention to her psyche and the way she was acting, it was a lot going on with that HQ. And it was more than just her being a big girl. She was like, the fact she was even online dressed like that. She
had a beautiful soul. She was optimistic. She was optimistic. Her hair was all over the place.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all she had to do was comb it, put some braids in it. Comb it, put some braids in it.
I ain't looking like a cave woman now. You know, no diss to her or nothing like that. But you know, you got to present yourself. You're going in front of millions of people. The video will be watched possibly for years to come. Right. You don't want to represent yourself like that. You never go on camera like that, would you, HQ?
No.
Exactly.
Because presentation is almost it's a first impression that people get, and you don't ever get a chance to make a first impression. And that young lady, I mean, the look was catastrophic. I get it. But she has the kind of soul. She has the kind of soul and personality that's very optimistic and amiable.
Can you define a beautiful soul?
The lady we're talking about, the lady who was on Single by Choices last night. First lady.
Ashley Dalton, the big girl.
Ashley Dalton, the big girl. Ashley Dalton last night.
Yeah, the big cat. Yeah.
And she had a very nice soul. When I say beautiful soul, I meant she was optimistic. She was joyful in getting ready for a date. Just imagine if that would have been you. She was getting ready for it, and she was excited. She was excited. Right or wrong, was she not excited?
She was geeked. She was definitely
There
geek.
you go. See, this is
She
what
was
you
geek.
want.
But I'm just saying, like, and if 100% of men did go with those style of women, they would be excited. But like I say,
The sexual
I still
component
don't
is
think
not
the
there.
loyalty. I still don't necessarily say the loyalty and the submission and all that will be on point as you think. Because I sense and see other things going on with that young lady. Like I've been, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
So the sexual, first of all, the sexual attraction was not there.
Right. But beyond that, even if she was an attractive girl, like it's just the way she was presenting herself and a lot of microaggressions. It was a lot of little things from that interview. If you're real serious about the game and this level of human interaction, I could see certain things. I don't think that's a terrible person or she's horrible or nothing. I'm not saying that. Or she's for nobody.
But the submission piece.
The submission piece. I don't know about it.
The submission piece would have been there. She was so geeked. She was so geeked for the relationship. On a date, she didn't know what to wear. She was confused. She was just upset, just geeked. But we want to see Beyonce geeked for us.
Oh yeah, we need Sade geek for us. We need
Sade geek for us.
Yeah. We want some bad ones geek for. I mean, a guy that can get out there and knock down the forest. That's what he's looking for. Right. Is it right to ignore other quality women just because they don't have model-esque look? I mean,
listen to this.
Yeah, you'd be right.
Not? Why not? Why do you feel like you have to have more?
You know what? A lot of men will probably say they felt that they didn't put in the work to be able to get more. Are they right? Who's to say? But a lot of men will probably respond with that. You know?
Yeah. And see, this is the conflict. This is the problem we're going to have. We're always going to run into men who feel as though they don't want to settle down. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you saying, I don't want to settle down. But I'm saying we're also getting into relationships when we shouldn't get into relationships. She got pregnant.
Right.
I get into a relationship. I really didn't want her, but except she's a side piece. I really didn't want to get in a relationship, except I just went over there and she the only option available this week. or you know what I'm saying? We fall into these relationships and then we expect to have regular relationship dynamics, and that doesn't happen. Most people have fallen into relationships without deliberately going over there and saying, I'm going to get in this relationship with this person. We're going to get to know each other first. We're not going to get pregnant. I'm going to find out how she is, what she is, blah, blah, blah. And then submission will be right there because I have proven myself to be trustworthy. She's safe, blah, blah, blah. But most of us just run into relationships because, she looked good. The sex was good. Boom. Oh, man, she pregnant. Boom. Oh, man, she done got nuts. Even though I never told her we was in a relationship, she done got crazy on me.
Yeah.
And that's how most of us get into these kind of relationships. I'm saying we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional.
I think in the most ideal situation,
right,
they would, but we also have to keep in mind too, HQ, and one fact that we haven't touched on and that's being overlooked here.
What?
Most of us in this race are not coming from that type of background that teaches and or coaches that. I got I'm gonna give you an example. I got 2 tech jobs, right? And on my part-time tech job, there's some young Indian girls from India that work there. It's like 3 of them. I'm at the computer. I overheard them talking, and they were like, talking amongst each other, and they're like 22, 23, and they were saying like, hey, if I don't get married before 27, like I'm going to be really disappointed. Right. I'm going to feel like a failure. And they just were like really going on and on about that amongst themselves. But that just goes to show you like how they're bred and how their culture is and what the expectations is. They obviously all been raised right. They all got their degree. They're college educated. They don't give off 3 or 4 vibes or whatever. I mean, normally I can kind of get a sense of a woman is kind of all over the place or whatever, but from interacting with them, they very reserved, very humble, like a lot of women from those races are. So when they have that type of cultural background that goes back hundreds and hundreds and or thousands of years, our community does not have that. We're not breeding that type. We're not putting in that type of product. So to expect those type of results when only like possibly 2 out of 10 young black boys come from that type of background that's equivalent to them, you know?
So here's my thing. My
7 to 8.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was finna say.
No, go ahead. You got it.
So how do we change that dynamic? I hear it's as though you're saying because we came from broken homes that we're incapable of breaking that cycle. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm gonna say it puts you behind the 8 ball for possibly breaking the cycle. It's not to say you can't still get married and or accomplish those things, but when you get a young person that's bred from infant to do that, and they're got to the point where they're out of college, you got a greyhound that's ready to go win a championship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that'd be like Elon Musk mentoring, I'm just saying on the tech front, mentoring your son from 10 years old. By the time that guy get out of college, he's going to be ready to run rush shit. Like all the people he done met and inside information he's going to have, that's going to be one sharp 23-year-old. You feel me?
Right.
So, we're
just lazy as a people. So we're just lazy as a people when it comes to relationships.
Right now, we're behind the 8 ball when it comes to relationships. Many years ago, like when black people was married at an 80% clip back in the 60s, we were in a good spot then. There was a lot of other stuff going on, and we were still getting segregation. A lot of other things were getting straightened out. And it wasn't perfect then either, you know. But the marriage rate was way higher. The relationship was stronger. It was more love in the black community. Look at the level of black consciousness was higher back then.
Right.
So, yeah, but then when drugs kind of came real heavy into the scene and attacks from the government, etc., you know, with that, welfare, you know, a lot of things hit at once. And without proper leadership,
and it's like when I hear that, I feel like we got hit, but nobody wants to get up and fight for it. Nobody wants to get up and fight. I mean, because I hear people say, well, I was born in a single household and I don't know that. You know what? I didn't know how to be married. I didn't know how to do any of those things. But I read a lot of books. But I read articles. I read things that told me this is the behavior, that told me this is how I was supposed to do. And I felt and I felt that in myself. I felt myself saying, I want to do that. So if I want to do that, then I'm going to have to copy this or do that or look at the examples in my life. My parents were married. They were married until my father did till they died. So I had the example of seeing a married person, but I also understood the umbrella that my father had for my mother and for us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But I also, on top of that, read a lot, which is why I say to people, you need to read articles, listen to people who talk about marriage, who understands that not every marriage is the same. You have to have 2 good people walking up to that altar to say those vows. You have to have the intention of doing the right thing. True enough, being faithful, men say what you're saying is men have men want to make the choice not to be faithful. It's a choice. It's a lot of things. That's something that is chosen when you get married. You choose to be faithful when you put a ring on someone's hand. You choose to be that husband, that leader. But then you also, when you don't choose it, but you tell the woman that you have chosen it, like you get into a relationship with the woman, and then she see, when we jump into relationships, we expect, you men expect us women to be faithful. Don't y'all expect us to be faithful, not give our snatch away? Why is it that we are not expected to do it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so
ain't no relationship. The only way I don't care about a woman doling that snatch out is if I ain't in a relationship with her.
Right.
Yep.
So why is it that you all expect us? So why is it that men expect us to just say, "Hey, that's what men do"? Men don't be faithful.
First of all, let me say this. I've said this before. A man and woman relationship is not asymmetrical. You know, it's not going to be equivalent. You know, there's going to be an A side and a B side.
See, that's what I don't subscribe to. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I don't subscribe to. If I can make this, wait a minute, hold on. Let me make this last statement. If I can be faithful, you can be faithful too.
Oh, and on that front, like I said, if it's something that I agree to, I can speak for myself. I'm gonna do it, you know. But I know a lot of other men ain't gonna do it.
And here is where your submission piece goes down the drain.
Yeah. Well, let me say this, AQ. My man, Arab Black TV, make a good point in the chat. He said, and this is something that slipped my mind. I meant to bring this up. We see a lot of women in these spaces, especially in single by choices, deliberately go for men that's got mad kids. Like if you're a young woman and you're in your 20s, fine, you ain't got no kids or whatever, why would you want to get with a guy that's already got 2 or more baby mamas? Like for real. That's an excellent question. He said 6 kids, but yeah, even 2 or more baby mamas, that's a lot. If she's a young girl and she ain't got no other kids, why would she even get herself caught up in that situation? But to kind of respond to Arab Black, that kind of goes in line with what I was just talking about with those Indian girls. They ain't really been bred to sidestep that type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Or to know that ain't nothing you really need to deal with. Like those girls I was talking about, they never mess with a guy like that.
Right.
You know, considering their situation. And he said something else too. All this stuff is playing out in front of everyone, and what's that do women stand on? I mean, it's a lot. A lot of women don't really criticize it. So the brother's got a point.
Right.
Yeah. He's got a good point. It isn't really discussed out in the open by women. I don't see a lot of women openly criticizing it, but why a chick would be getting with a dude like that, you know, doesn't really make any sense. And like they can't.
If you hear men say it, it's not the same when I got kids. Me having kids as a man is not the same as a woman having kids.
Yeah. And
women buy into that same logic. It's not the same when a man has kids as opposed to me having kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody buys into that whole thing.
Well, this the thing though. HQ. It just not benefit a woman to do that. You know. It
doesn't benefit a woman to have to deal with a man who has kids, and it's not beneficial for a man to deal with a woman who has kids.
In this scenario I'm presenting it, I'm not talking about an older woman. You know what I'm saying? But a young white woman, like I described those Indian girls, let's say she's black. And she don't have kids, right?
Right.
And she's young and fine. It does not benefit her to get with a guy with 2+ baby mamas. It does not. There's really I can almost guarantee you that situation is gonna go left. You
are fighting against the narrative that the men seem to have, because a lot of men will say, me having kids, it don't matter how many kids I have. I don't. It's different from us men. You can ask a lot of men in the comment section. Okay, why don't it make a difference between a man when a man has a lot of kids as opposed to a woman having a lot of kids? according to them, it don't make a difference.
It is differences there. Yeah, I will admit that, but I still stand on what I'm saying though, and that it don't benefit a young spry tenderoni to get with a guy like that. The brother's right. I agree with Eric Black 100% on that.
Right.
It don't benefit that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is funny.
Well,
I know what you're saying though.
Thank you, Triple X, for calling up. Thank you for calling up. I wish we had a girl to come up and say why submission is not going to rock with her. She ain't going to rock with submission. But thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Rose. Go ahead, call in. Peace.
So that's a whole nother narrative. All the men continue to say, "Oh, men, a young woman dealing with men with children, it ain't the same. It ain't the same." So he's saying that it's not the same for women to deal with stepmothers. So he's saying it's not no incentive for her to do it either. So it's no incentive for people who have children, man or female, male or female. That's what we're saying. But what we were saying, what we had discussed when it came to submission, is because women expect things. Women expect things. Women expect loyalty, faithfulness, and all of that. And because a lot of women don't get it out of relationships, she's not going to be submissive. It just is what it is. I don't know how you get past that. Who's doing what? There's no way I'm going to be submissive and you can't be faithful to me. You can't stop seeing other women. She has to have a trustworthy individual and she has to feel safe. Okay. And once you know characteristics of how she is conducting herself and moving, then you'll know that you could probably get submission from her. But you're not going to get submission from a woman that you are halfway out the door. Because if you're halfway out the door all the time, there's no reason for her to be submissive. Because that means that you're not fully committed to that relationship too. And commitment is what most people are looking for. Most people want. And I get it. You want submission, but you can't just ask for submission and you're not bringing submission to. It's a two-way street. We women don't call it submission, but it's almost like a submission. It's almost like submission too. There's a two-way street. She has to have a certain submission from you. And you have to have a certain submission from her. Tell me, am I wrong or am I right? If you don't prove yourself to be trustworthy, every time I look up, you gone. Every time I look up, your phone is ringing. Every time I look up, you're looking at a woman. Every time I look up, you disappearing. Every time I look up, I'm getting cussed out. Every time I look it up, all these things. How do you expect to get submission from me if every time I look up, you're doing those things? You shouldn't expect submission if you can't hold up your part of the bargain. Okay? Or anything he speaks about in regards to being in a relationship with him. He's talking to his flock. And see, there's two. I hear all the time, a man submits to God. No, that's not how that works in the real world. Yes, there's a submission to God, but there's also a submission in your marriage, in your relationship. She has to have a trustworthy individual, and she has to feel safe. This is why I'm doing this live, because a lot of people don't understand submission. You think submission means I got to be subservient. What was that? What is it? Where is that? Where is that? What the women think? She says, being head of the family does not mean that I obey you, that you treat me like a servant, that only your needs and well-being are taken care of. I'm not a support staff. I don't take care of your needs and then neglect mine. A lot of y'all don't know what submissive means. 2 elements: a trustworthy human being and safety. And a man needs that same component if he's going to be your partner or want to be in that relationship. I have a call again.
Call from
Stephen.
Whom?
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello.
Hey, Miss HQ, it's me again. How are you?
Oh, okay, Stephen. Oh, okay. I didn't hear the name. Okay. Right?
Hey.
Good evening. Good evening. I know what the word means. Hold on a minute, Stephen. I know what the word submission means. Do you know what submission means? You have to know what submission means in order for it to work in a relationship. Not submission to God, not submission to the church. I'm saying submission in a marriage. And I know it's a jerk reflex for men. It's also a jerk reflex for women. This is what I'm saying. It's a jerk reflex for women too, because most of the women out here think slavery, telling me what to do, me having to put you first and neglecting myself, in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. This is what a lot of women think it means. And this is the way a lot of men present it. So therefore, they're not going to be submissive because they think that way. And that's not what submission is. Men are presenting it to the women wrongly, and the women are running away with a different take of what it is. Okay, Stephen. Hello.
Yeah, my thought on submission is exactly what you just said, but here's an example.
Mm-hmm.
If the man and the woman, the boyfriend, girlfriend, they want to go out somewhere,
mm-hmm.
and they're getting dressed,
mm-hmm.
and the lady says, well, I'm in the mood for jazz music. The guy says, well, I want something more up-tempo than jazz or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I hear there's this guy in town or whatever. He's only here for a week. Let's go check him out. Submission to me means
mm-hmm.
that the lady says, well, since the guy is only here for a week and I somewhat agree with my boyfriend or husband's view on what musical tastes are, I'm going to try it. I'm going to submit this time. Okay, let's go check it out. Let's go check this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. A relationship is like a plane. You have a pilot, you have a co-pilot. Both of them can't be at the controls at the same time, especially when something goes wrong.
Mm.
Both of them can feed off of the information that both of them have to try and solve the problem. But in the end, only one person's got their hand on that stick. So submission does not mean...
So my hand is on the stick.
Your hand is on a stick. You might be more qualified in this situation than me to make the right call that will benefit both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, as a man, I have to submit to your experience and your idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to be humble enough and smart enough, and here's where you go back to that trust. The man has got to trust and have faith in the woman that he's selected to be his co-pilot will also make good decisions that he can submit to when the time is necessary. If anybody has a problem with that whole scenario or that emotion that has to go into that pilot and co-pilot in that situation, then you are flying solo. You should not be looking for a co-pilot until you understand what it's like to be in that small cockpit, because life is a cockpit. Both of you are going to go through the turbulence and go through the sunny skies together. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're right. In that context, so why is it that we have women? Why is it such a difficult for women to submit? If it's as simple as you say, and it's as clear cut, and it's just that particular dynamic, and that doesn't seem to be all that awful. Why do we have women saying they don't want it?
Okay. I will say that look at what society puts out. Look at the culture that women almost of any age, look at the music that they listen to and the movies that they watch. And their moms and their older sisters and their grandmoms telling them since they were younger, men ain't crap. Men ain't this, men ain't that. Then you have the music. Oh, all the single ladies in the house, raise your hand. Or all the boss bees in the house do this. All the independent women do this. That gave them the platform to think that they're equal to a man, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. Believe what you want, do what you want, but you will have to suffer the relationship consequences of that thought.
Okay, so women have been saying this for the longest. You said they have been saying that. And we established, Triple X and I, that there are faults on both sides for this.
Exactly right.
Faults on both sides. And he says when people get into relationships, men are not subject to being, or not, I don't want to say that. I guess I interpreted what he said as men don't want to be faithful, so thus a woman is not going to trust him and submit to him. He doesn't want to be faithful in a relationship. He does these things, and so therefore she doesn't build the trust she's supposed to build. She doesn't build the safety she's supposed to have, and so therefore she's going to rah-rah him all the time because she doesn't have those two things, and so therefore submission is not able to be had.
Okay, so I would say to that, then both of them created that scenario. So by him, everybody is only going to respond to what somebody else does. None of us can read each other's minds. None of us can look into each other's hearts. None of us can predict the future. I can only go by what I see. I can only go by what I experience with you. So if she has that issue with that man, then she is choosing. She's not a victim. She's a volunteer. She is choosing to be with that person. Whatever, if it's just a fly-by-night thing or she's trying to make it into a solid relationship, she has to make that decision. But I would say you can't make chicken salad out of chicken you know what.
So my question is this.
Yes.
So my question is this. If women don't feel the need to submit. So no, this is a question I have. I'm sorry, a question I have for you. Do you think women what do you think? How do I put it? How do you think a woman can submit? What do you need to do to make her what do you think needs to be there for her to submit?
Okay. So based on my experience, you have to build trust. You have to build a history.
Mhm.
You have to, depending on your character of the type of man that you want, that type of man has to show her
Mhm.
that for you, that this is who I am.
Mhm.
If I say I'm going to do something, if I say I'm going to call you at 7 o'clock, 6:59, I expect you to be somewhere near your phone because I'm calling you at 7 o'clock. But if I have a history of calling her at 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, even though I said call at 7, why should she believe me? Why should she take me seriously?
Why
So it
should she
starts
submit?
with exactly, because you ain't doing the first step.
Right.
If you say you're going to do something, then you do it. And then that's how anybody, your employer, your prospective boyfriend or girlfriend, anybody looks at you and says, okay, this is a person that is stable. They're trustworthy. If I can't trust you, again, that co-pilot, why should I submit to you?
Right.
Why should I listen to whatever you present to me?
Right.
You ain't in it for the long haul. Your goal is not the same as mine. Your viewpoint is not the same as mine.
Right. Right. And
So
that's
now
what,
I'm
and
not gonna-
that's my whole premise. My premise was,
Yeah, exactly.
if I don't trust, you're not a trustworthy person. If you're not, this is the first thing that has to happen. The trust has to come along with it. If, just for example, if every time we're sort of getting in the relationship, but you notice that I'm not submissive. But every time I look up and you gone, you cheating, you cussing me out, you doing all of this stuff, why would I trust you? And with that trust, there's no submission with that. Then I don't feel safe with you because I'm always up in arms thinking about what you're doing, how you're doing, why, when, what, blah, blah, blah. There is
Exactly.
I feel safe. So that's why I said at the beginning, a woman cannot submit if they don't feel safe and if they don't trust somebody enough to keep them safe. Okay? And women these days don't feel that they can trust a man. And according to the men in the history, there's never really been a one woman man. That's that's unnatural to be with just one woman. So if it's unnatural and you're going to do it anyway, why am I submitting to you? Because I'm never going to trust you. I'm never going to trust you with my body. I'm never going to trust you. Maybe that might have something to do with not having all of them orgasms they say women don't have. Why am So why am I not submitting to you? Because of these two factors. I don't trust you. Really, I don't trust you. I want you. I want to be in a relationship with you. I got a kid with you. Blah, blah, woo, woo. But I don't trust you. And you're not a trustworthy person because you do these things. And I don't feel safe. Not really. Not completely. So I'm saying is without those two components, you're not going to get submission. And women keep saying, well, you got to submit to here. It doesn't work because I'm always, when you walk out the door, I'm always thinking, man, he could be seeing this other woman. He could be doing that. Oh, he late home from dinner. What is he doing? You over there acting up. I can't trust you. That's not that. You will never have submission from a woman. Never, never, never.
And on the other side, most men know, especially now with different shows on the internet and different platforms and things,
right?
That most men, they know they can't hide from it, that women have a roster. Right. So therefore, they might be the Tuesday and Wednesday man.
Because they can't trust, because I have a roster because I can't trust you. I
Right,
want
but
you.
but
I want to be in a relationship with you, but you seeing Sally, Joe, and you dealing with Sally, Mary, and Mickey. And so I can't trust you. So I'm gonna have a roster too, because I'm not gonna be ass out and you got 3-4 women over there on the side.
okay, so
That's
which
why I
one
got a
comes first?
roster.
Does he have his roster first and trying to talk to somebody, Mary Jo, whatever?
Because you haven't
And
proved
then
yourself to be trustworthy. So therefore, I'm not cutting loose the other men until you prove
Right.
yourself to be trustworthy.
And let's say the man doesn't have a roster and he's focused on that one woman that he finds attractive and wants to spend time with her or whatever.
Mhm.
Now, on his end, if he can't reach her on a Wednesday or a Thursday,
Mhm.
he's got to wonder, how committed is she? Does she have a roster? Do I trust her?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Because,
Are you asking, am I asking from submission from you, or are you asking for submission from me?
well, trust has got to come first. So either way, before we get to submission, again, we go back to, I got to trust you in order to submit to you.
What does submission look like from a man?
That's a load. I guess it depends on the man.
What does that look like?
That depends. Because each man is looking for. Each man could be different, looking for different type of things. It depends on the category of the man.
So do you?
If he has a roster, he doesn't need too much submission, because he could say, "Oh, well, hey, I'm hungry. I want to slide by. Can you give me something to eat?" And she's going to say, "Hey, well, I'm not your girl. I'm not submitting to you. I'm not cooking for you." Okay, he'll hang up the phone and he will call other Bonquisha and get somebody who's going to cook for him or bring him food. So then where are we at? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to build first a history of trust, so there can be submission entering into the room. There can be the goggles of, hey, let me trust this person enough to be, number one, be vulnerable. Hey, I need something from you. I'm asking you. And if that person, male or female, says in their mind, well, I don't trust you, I don't submit to you because you've been showing me other stuff, you're not going to get it from me, then that relationship is going to be stalled.
But see,
It's
here's the
never
thing.
going to grow.
According to Triple X and we were talking about,
Uh-huh.
we don't do the regular traditional relationship song and dance. We don't do the regular traditional song and dance, do we? We jump into a relationship.
What is that?
We jump into a relationship. We're sexually compatible. Let's jump into a relationship. She get pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And then we end up in a relationship that we didn't want. We really didn't want. We just wanted sex. But now we here with a baby. I don't know you. I ain't stopping from seeing these girls I'm seeing. But I'm pregnant. So you got to stop. Because I want to be in a relationship with you. We finna have a baby. So you need to stop doing what you're doing, but you ain't going to stop doing what you're doing. So therefore, you're not going to get my trust.
See, then again, there again, if there is no history of trust, a baby shouldn't even come into the picture.
Right.
They don't just happen to fall from the sky. No.
And this
two
is the
parties got to do something.
Right. Right.
So,
but it's both of our issues. But it's both of us who are doing it. You're sticking your dick in me, and I'm not using protection, and neither are you. So it's both our faults.
Well, hey, but we have enough rules in the world governing dumb behavior. And a lot of dumb behavior we can't develop rules for. We can't legally make people get the Norplant at 12 and then keep it until they're 25.
Right.
We can't make people strap on a condom. We can't make people do that.
But see, and then we can't because we don't moderate these behaviors. Certain things are not going to come down the pike. Submission is one of those things that will. I wonder how many men Look at that one. Do you think that when you get into an argument and your woman is being combative and she's doing all these things and they think that that in any way, shape, or form she's submissive? No, because something has happened that has broken that trust. Something has happened, and it may not even be something he did. It may be something he never did or he never said. Right? So I'm saying, why not understand where these women are coming from when they say, I can't do the submission thing because of this, because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying it's all the men's fault. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we both have a part in why submission is not where it's supposed to be. Like other couples that are successful in relationships, right? I'm not saying submission is an option. Submission is not an option in a relationship, in a marriage, because there's levels of commitment in that marriage, right? There's levels to it that a regular relationship doesn't have. So I'm more inclined to be submissive in that marriage if you prove yourself trustworthy or a trustworthy human being, and I feel safe.
Right, but long before you even got married, long before you even had the thought. Oh yeah.
And I'm saying the women of today are saying, you keep saying you're never going to be faithful. Men don't want to be faithful. Men don't want to be consistent like that. They want to have their freedom. They want to do what they want to do, but they want to have sex with me, but they don't want to have a commitment or whatever. But you want submission. You can't have submission unless you prove yourself worthy of that submission. Women are not asking men to be submissive. Men are asking women to be submissive.
Right.
So therefore you need to do something as a man. You need to do something that brings about my submission. And that means
I agree with that.
Trust and making me feel safe, because a woman is not going to submit until she has those two things. And I don't know how people think it looks, but that's what it is. Safety and trust. A trustworthy human being. Okay? If you think about it.
No, I agree with you.
But what are men doing? What are women doing that a man is not giving you his trust? That's not not a man giving her his trust. A man, women, how did I say that? Women, a man giving her a man making her feel as though he's trustworthy. Okay. Opening her legs does not mean she submits. Y'all make that, you mean that's not synonymous. Otherwise prostitution would not be where it's at. Just because she opens her legs and goes to bed with you doesn't mean she submits to you. Let's get that. Let's get that out in the open. That's a different type of submission. You see how we have all of that mixed up? Huh?
Who doesn't understand that?
No, a young man and a young person in the comment section said she won't submit, but we'll open her leg. They're two totally different things. Had nothing to do with each other.
Right.
They have nothing. Lee Turner has nothing to do with each other. I hear that a lot on panels. She open her legs. She keep having these babies though. That means nothing. That has nothing to do with submission. Right?
No, because there's other benefits that she gets out of opening her legs and having a baby that got nothing to do with you. She only needs you for 10 seconds. Right. And then she's done with you. She can get everything that she wants from the world after you and then move on to the next guy. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. We have to do a lot of
building up of trust in our community, a lot of building up of trust on both sides. Trust her not to play with your emotions. Why is she rah, rah, rah with you? Why would a woman be rah with you? And you have to ask yourself. People ask them. Do they ask themselves why? I don't know.
I don't think the state of the culture is now that is even going to be an issue, because it's just about hookup culture. You don't need trust or to be submissive to hook up with somebody. So, you know,
and that's what I meant. Where our culture is like that. Our culture has been doing that from time to time. That's all we've been doing is hooking up, and nobody wants to be in the relationships. Why not? Hooking up, you cannot expect submission, period. Okay?
Exactly right.
You cannot expect that. You just deal with what you get from a woman if you don't want to show her that you're trustworthy. And she is going to get what she can get.
Let me just say this.
Right.
And let me just say this. I see Mr. Walker in the chat. Shout out to SBC. He said 10 seconds is bananas. I heard about you in the streets, Mr. Walker. That's all I'm going to say. But no, I agree with a lot of what you said. And it's just like, now that you phrased it to me to where I heard you were talking about the young people, then it is up to, the only way it can change is it's got to revert back to an era in time to where it was more morally acceptable to be a widow with 1 or 2 children than to be never married and have 4 kids by 4 different men. Period. Right. There's also what you were saying, how the woman has to see that he is trustworthy so that she would be submissive to him.
Right.
I'm going to give you an example of a situation that I saw. A couple years ago, I was at a laundromat, and there was this young man. He might have been about, to me, and is 25, along with this woman. She might have been around the same age, and they had like maybe a 3-year-old. He kind of wasn't yelling at her, but being very sharp with her. And he said to her, "Oh, well, what do I got to do to get some respect out of you?" And I looked at him and I held my tongue, only because if I said what I wanted to say, she might feel the repercussions, not me.
Yes.
I wanted to tell him, people who get respect are worthy of respect.
Right.
And other people see that, so they don't have to ask for it.
Right. Right.
Now, why she was with this guy, I don't know. I've never seen them again or anything, but that's why I didn't say anything, because he could have mumbled to me, but when they got home, gotten physical with her.
Right. Right.
Said, "Oh, well, that," you see what I'm saying? So I guess that for me, that ties into the root of this conversation, is that if you want respect, if you want submission on the man standpoint, and I'm a man, and I'm telling you, you got to be worthy of that.
Right.
Even if you're going to be my friend, I'm considered respectable. I can't be hanging out with nug, slapping girls around or having multiple baby daddies or whatever. Right. That looks bad on me. That's how I was raised. So when I walk into a room, it doesn't matter if I have a 3-piece suit on like I did today, or a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. People see that I am different. I walk tall. My mom always told me to hold your head high, look people in the eye, and when you shake their hand, you shake it firm.
Right.
And you say what you mean, and you mean what you say. It doesn't matter if it is a detriment to me. That's why I try very hard not to lie. I cut that out my junior year in high school, because I said, who are these people that I should ever have to lie to? Right. They don't mean nothing to me. Right. My life is going to carry on. So dating wise, it's like, hey, this is what I would like from you. This is what I'm going to give to you. Let's work this out. If we don't get it, then you're not the one that I move on to the next one.
Right.
But I didn't have kids to get locked in that scenario.
Right.
So I've heard many times, oh, well, you'd be a great mentor. The school systems would love for me to walk through those halls every day.
Mm.
I raised my kids. I don't have any. I'm not going to do somebody else's job for them.
Right.
That's not why I'm here. Do your job.
Right.
Because if you do your job, that affects more people since you have kids than I do. Then the values that they learn and how to hold their head high, they can pass that on to their kids and their kids' friends.
Right.
I don't have that luxury. I can't touch that many people.
Mm.
So that's all I'm saying. I agree with the topic, but somebody has got to stand on.
I don't know how we're gonna get. I don't know how you're gonna get these. I don't know how you're gonna get the young ones to say, "Hey, this is why I'm moving wrong. This is how I'm moving wrong," and then we want to make something move right. But this hookup culture is making it so that nothing is gonna go right in relationships. If you just keep doing this hookup culture. I get it. Sex is easy. I get it. Women want to just have sex and she don't want to deal with you. It's a lie. It's a lie. This is the real honest truth from HQ. When women say they just want to have sex with you, it's a lie.
And I believe that. But they don't know how to select proper men. They weren't taught that, and they probably didn't see that. And unfortunately, where they go to get their information, depending on their age, is each other who don't know nothing, or the wrong platforms to get information.
Right.
Like, how in the world does somebody who's never been married, who's been through multiple relationships, give advice on how to be married, how to stay married? I remember back when I was growing up, this woman, Dr. D'Angelo, she used to write these books on marriage and stuff. And then did some research. She'd been divorced like 3-4 times.
Wow.
The only thing you know is how to crash a car. You don't know how to drive? What are you talking about? Why should I listen to you? I can crash on my own.
Right.
Unless you are discerning enough to say, okay, that person made those mistakes. Let me put that in my book to try not to make those mistakes, which is a credit to you because like you, when I was younger, I read on different things.
Right.
But that is not popular in the culture. That is
not today.
In the culture.
Not today.
Not today.
It's like, look, you cannot listen to Jimmy Joe, and Jimmy Joe, his woman left him because Jimmy Joe kept cheating, and his woman left him for his best friend. And you can't take that scenario and say that's how all women move or how all men move. That's not how that works, right? You have to have lived experiences, or you have to have people who have lived experiences in order to follow and listen to. You cannot listen to single folks that's single like you. Single men keep single men single too.
Yeah.
Remember that phrase?
There's hoes on both sides.
Right.
But you have to be, especially as a young person, you got to figure out, if I follow this person's advice, where will it lead me? If I follow the opposite end advice, where will it lead me? And try and figure out where you're going to be in the middle.
But see, listen to this one little thing.
Yeah.
Do these people actually know what they want? I don't want no girlfriend. All these hoes out here. I don't want no man. That's all they do is sleep around. Knowing full damn well you want to be married with some kids with one man, and he want a faithful, loyal wife.
And then the only thing you can say to that individual, if they had somebody in their life with some sense, they would tell them, okay, well, when you want to take relationships seriously, when you want to learn about yourself and get to a point where you feel you're ready enough to share yourself for a long-lasting, good relationship, then you come back to me. Because I can't stop you from going out there and hoeing. I can't stop you from being like everybody else, being young and dumb and just thinking spreading your legs has no consequences.
Right.
You're gonna live the consequences of your decisions.
Right.
None of us have escaped that. None of us, and none ever will.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I made mistakes as a young person too. But I auto-corrected that pretty quick when I said, is this the path I want to go down? Do I want to be this single mother without having a man or having some kind of protection? And I decided that's not what I wanted to do. Although I had my children in rapid succession, 1 and 2. They were 1 and 2. One was not even 1, and I was pregnant again.
Right.
Just boom, boom, boom. Right. So I had 2 right in a row. And then I figured out when they were 1 and 2, respectfully, okay, no, I don't want to go down this route. So I'm just saying, don't look at it as something that's perfect. No, it's not perfect. The road was not perfect. Nothing was perfect, but it was the best and the happiest road that you could possibly. Ain't no way I'd be out here 40 years old looking at no 20-year-old girl. Ain't no way.
It depends on what you want.
But expecting it to work, expecting her not to want nobody else.
Well, the delusion is with everybody.
expecting her not to want nobody. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't no way.
Yep, for her to be monogamous and just think you're the best thing in her world, unless you somehow get her as a virgin, but even that's going to wear off.
Right. Really quick. You want the best version for you. If you're 40 and she's 20, that's not the best version for you. That's not the longest lasting thing. Don't give me that. Sometimes it works. A very small percentage. It works. But the bulk of us fall into the middle where the man is 2 or 3 or 4 years older than us. And we make it work 2, 3, 4 years older than us within the range. Okay. And so we make it work that way. But this big disparity of age, some of it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the times it doesn't, because most of us fall in the middle.
Yeah. And most of the people who fall in the middle probably won't need shows like this because they've used their discernment and figured it out.
Right.
Now, there are some people in life that they may need only 1 brick across the head and they get it right. Some people need 5. And some people are in their 60s and still don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got to stay with them. Hey, let them be what they're going to be. As long as they don't get in don't let them be an obstacle in what you trying to do.
No.
You can't tell me what's going to make me happy.
Right.
And I can't tell you what's going to make you happy. My definition of submission is different than yours. Right. Leave me alone. I'm not saying somebody said a 35 to 55. I'm not saying that won't work. I'm saying the bulk of us fall in. That's on the end. That's on another end of the spectrum. Just like young and young is on the end of the spectrum, this disparity is on this end of the spectrum. I'm saying most of us within 5 years of each other. And that's how we get married. Right.
Within being married within 5 or so years of each other, age-wise, that's the norm of what works. I'm not saying 35 and 55 won't work. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying it does work. Very small cases, it does work. We all fall in the middle, right? And we want to put the best foot forward so things work. So I'm not out there looking. I'm not out there looking for a man when I'm 40 and I'm looking for a man that's 29. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not this. I know that dynamic is not going to work, right? If you're discerning, if you were a person that's actually looking for something long term and you wanted to make it work, I wouldn't be looking for a man that's 10, 11 years younger than me, 12, 15 years younger than me. I just wouldn't. And a man, I'm not stating anything as fact. You're not listening. Leon, you're not listening. So my whole point is that we have to get to the point where we have to get that trust back into relationships. We have to get that trust. Trust you to do what you say you're going to do. She's trusting you. You're trusting her. Stop having babies when you're in situationships.
Yeah.
That just further complicates a relationship. That pulls him into a relationship that he doesn't want to have, maybe. And maybe it's a relationship that you don't want to have. Okay.
And that's why your show should be played in all 7th and 8th grade schools around the country, because you talking sense. Where else they going to get this kind of sense from?
Right.
I would hate to be, 13, 14 years old now. They don't know nothing.
Right.
And there's no moral direction. There's no, everybody wants to do what makes them happy right now, man and female, right now. What can I get right now?
Right.
Okay, well,
right.
You'll find out where that leads you.
I'm just saying, there's a road. There's roads that you may not necessarily be ecstatically happy on, but those roads lead to congruency, or it leads to contentment in life, or happiness in life. If I'm dealing with a person that has drama all the time, my car broke down, I need money, I can't pay for that, I can't I'm over here drunk, come pick me up, blah blah, then you shouldn't expect to have any kind of harmony in your world. Oh, he always cheat. I got this girl, I got that girl, I got 5 girls, I got a roster. Then you shouldn't expect to have any kind of harmony in your world. You doing unharmonious things. And I'm not saying it's not fun to do those things, but you also have to keep your eye on what you actually want. Do you want a woman that is submissive in this relationship? Have you expressed to her what submission means to you? Or have you got a talking point, and then that you think that whole talking point of submission applies to all women? That one talking point doesn't necessarily apply to all women. So it has to be adjusted. The first thing you have to understand, that submission requires trust and her feeling safe. If you want submission from her, do what you need to do to instill that trust. If you don't do what it takes to instill trust, I'm not saying be a simp. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is instilling trust. Then you can't ask for submission, because it's never going to come. Women think they give you submission, but they don't, because otherwise they would not be doing the rah, rah, rah. And a lot of you guys say women do rah, rah, rah all the time. That means she doesn't trust you. I hate to break that to you, but that's what that means. When she bucking up to you, ready to fight you like a man, talking crazy to you, not doing what you say, not respecting you, that means she ain't giving you submission. That means she don't trust you. And if she don't trust you, she's not going to give you submission.
In a long-term commitment situation.
Right.
And an easy way to test that is, A, ask her or think about the person, him or her. Mm-hmm. Would that person be more ready to give you oral sex than to give you a sandwich at 11:30 at night? Which one would they do? And that is, whatever the answer is, that is the person that you're dealing with. Act accordingly.
Right.
All righty, girl. I have been on. I don't know how you do this. You got me on the phone. I done missed my whole Miami game. I got to get ready for this Bills game. I'm going to let somebody else call in. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. I see y'all in the chat. Call on up.
Thank you.
Say what y'all got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I appreciate you. Keep cooking. You. Shout out to all y'all. I am gone.
Thank you. All right, guys. All right. We had a decent topic on submission. She has to have trust, and you have to be a trustworthy individual. And she has to be safe. That's how submission works. The women these days say you men are not giving that. You men are not trustworthy. Because the way you speak about submission is not how I see it in my head. Women sleep with men that they don't trust every day of the week and twice on Sundays. I don't know why y'all think because she pulls her clothes off that she trusts you. There's some men that I wouldn't trust to go to the store with me, but he hot as hell. And my whole point is if you want submission, you have to have trust and you have to be a trustworthy human being. Dipping out, sleeping with other women, doing this, doing that. A lot of people are in relationships and they slipping out the back door, seeing Sammy, seeing Mary, seeing Sue, and then coming over here thinking I'm going to be submissive to you. When I know you over there seeing Sally, Sammy, and Sue. No, I'm bucking up to you. I'm swinging on you. I'm calling you a no shit nigga. I'm doing all of these things because I don't trust you. Because you haven't instilled trust. So if you know that you're not instilling trust in a woman, don't look at me crazy and say, why am I bucking up to you? Why am I rah, rah, rah to you? Why am I being a hyena to you if you're not instilling trust? If you're not giving me trust? If you're not standing on your word? You're not standing on what you say? You're not doing the right things? Don't ask for submission if you're not willing to do your part to generate that submission. No, it's not just Pookie, it's regular men too. Because a lot of you men say, I don't have to be faithful because they weren't faithful before. That's not man's natural habitat. That's not man's natural state to be faithful. So why she expect me to be faithful? Then don't expect to have submission if you don't know what it takes. For a woman to be submissive, she has to trust you. Trust is related to sexual discipline. You don't have sexual discipline, I don't trust you. And that's how it goes. That's why women are having a problem with this submission piece. And that's our lecture for today, guys, or our call-ins for today. We don't have any more calls. And we're going to end it here, but we will have. Please like and subscribe, guys. Please. And share if you can. Please, please, please do that. And I will see you tomorrow for why do men think cheating is okay? I definitely want to hear from some guys. Why do you think it's okay? You get the results you get if you think cheating is okay. Right? You should get the results. Thank you, Mr. Walker, for the Cash App. Thank you. $5. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Please like and share. See you guys tomorrow.